Hey folks, and welcome to IPT2, the new podcast for our centre, IPT Qualifications. So, for a while now, we've been asking our social media channels what else would they like us to add that could help support them and different endeavours. Because not everybody's going to want to become a personal trainer, but some people, they just want to have some fitness knowledge or knowledge around anything to do with fitness, well-being, health, mental health, and so on. So we came up with this podcast. And although this podcast is for a centre, it is also for you guys out there who want to learn more information about what personal training is really like, and also just about the fitness scene itself and being a fitness professional. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Neil, and I'm one of the founders of IPT. Now, I'm not the only person that founded IPT. There was a whole bunch of us who got together and formed what is now called iPTqualifications. And we came up with the name because it stands for International Personal Training Qualifications. We have big, grandiose plans for helping the entire world change when it comes to the personal training qualification, and hopefully you'll join us on that journey. Now, when we got together, we sought to actually help people get a better education, and with that in mind, we had to look at the industry and what was going right, what was going wrong, what students said, what tutors said, what mentors said, what assessors said, and so on. And then we devised our programs. And from that, we obviously had to get accredited, as you need to be to actually take the personal training out there into the world and teach it to people. So that brings us to where we are now, to this podcast. So I've obviously introduced myself and the centre a little bit, but who am I and why should you really listen to me? So I've already said it. My name's Neil. I am a personal trainer by trade. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, actually a little bit longer than 10 years. I've been training personally for well over 20 years. I won't disclose how many past 20, because that'll be me showing my age. But it's been a long time, and in that time I've tried just about every training and nutrition technique, tip, trick and thing that's out there. So, professional wise, I've been a manager, I've been a fitness manager, I've been a personal trainer. I ran my own at-home service where I would come to you and personal train you. And through all that led me to teaching and tutoring and mentoring students through the personal training course. And I've done all that with loads of different companies out there. And I've also even been abroad and trained people out in Dubai for a couple of years. So I've been there and I've done it. And for a lot of personal trainers who want to actually go out there and achieve something in this world, you're going to need that kind of experience to help you do that. So that's why myself and the other tutors are there, because we have the experience, we've been there, we've done it, and we want to now share that with you. But again, why should you really care? Because that could be any tutor out there. Any tutor could have that kind of experience, and there is plenty who have. We have 3 tutors who all have experience of being abroad and building businesses there in different parts of the world. So why should you listen to me, and why should you listen to this podcast? Well, For many years, I have also been winning awards, and it culminated back in 2019 and 20 when I was, let's say, crowned, but I was given the opportunity to go to the UK Fitness Awards, where I was in a room full of some of the biggest names in fitness, and I was given the title of PT of the Year for Scotland and Ireland, which was a massive achievement and something that I'll never forget. But on top of that, I've also been winning awards like the Scottish Enterprise Awards, uh, the Top 100 Awards, and these are all for things like being the best personal training company out there, and that's why you should really listen to me. I'm currently still winning awards. I'm currently a tutor. I'm currently still personal training. And it's that current factor that should keep you interested because I'll keep you up to date. Now, that's enough about me. And I really do hate boasting or trying to big myself up. So you won't hear too much of that. You may hear lots of stories, but you might not hear too much of me actually trying to big myself up. I just don't like it. It's not who I am, and it's not what I try to do. I just want to pass on my experience and make sure that if you're trying to be a personal trainer yourself, that you actually take some value away from these kind of podcasts and what we'll be talking about in the future. As I said, this is more of an introduction, so value-wise, you get to find out who I am today and a little bit more about the centre. So let's have a look at that and actually think about the centre. So IPT was created to give people the opportunity to actually accelerate how they understand personal training and the knowledge that they gain during the personal training course. And the only way to do that was to actually have tutor involvement. So we created a hybrid program. And for some people, the word hybrid doesn't really resonate. So what it is when you come onto our 90-day program, you will be taken through the material, taught it, and you will be given the understanding of what you need to do to then pass all of the different things you need to pass during your course. And with that being taught to you, and it's live, you get to ask questions of the tutor. You get to query things. You get to ask what does that do? What does it relate to in real life? And we also try to give our experience on that when we're teaching you the course, because that's what brings it alive. Not just like when you go to most training providers, you buy a course and you're just given the material and told to go and learn it, basically. Here's when your exams are, here's what you need to do to pass, see you later. Now, we're not like that. And even though we do have a self-learning, a self-paced course, we don't want you to just be left on your own. So even though you're paying a little less money for that self-paced course, we do advise it's for people who have more fitness experience. We advise it's for people who need more flexibility. We advise that you'll still get the webinars, they just won't be live, so that you can see what goes on those webinars. And for the people who do pay the extra money to come on the 90-day program, you're there to try accelerate your learning. So you might not have the same confidence in the gym. You might not have the same confidence with fitness knowledge. And that's why we're there to help increase that knowledge, to help you understand. And when somebody is reading a book, it is hard to understand sometimes. We specifically looked at the way people learn, and people learn in 3 different ways: visually, audio, and kinesthetic. So if you have a book, sure, you'll be able to read it and visually see what's going on, but there's no audio, there's no kinesthetic. You don't see things being done. So during our course, we actually have a private video library of all the things you need to learn to actually pass your personal training course. And again, like, the biggest thing people have to realize when they're wanting to become a personal trainer is the course you pick and the tutor you get will determine the success that you actually get out of your career. And that's why there's so many people nowadays that are complaining about the personal training scene being saturated, or so many personal trainers that go out there and fail. And that's not the personal trainer's fault. That's the training provider. That's us. And if we're not doing our job properly, and you don't have the education to go out and create a business that's profitable and helps people, then that's on us. You can't do something if you've never been taught it. So when you're on our course, we actually add on an extra business qualification so you can actually have a business after the course. And even if it's not a case of you wanting to be a direct personal trainer, maybe you want to be a studio owner, or one of your dreams is to get into fitness management. We also talk about those avenues because it's important. And even things like marketing. How do you market yourself as a personal trainer? There's all these, we call them hats, that you have to put on. All these different hats that you have to put on and then become. So you have to be a marketer. You have to be a businessman or woman. You have to make sure that you understand finances. You have to understand how to do tax. But these things are just kind of put to the side on the personal training course. And in some cases, depending on the course you've got, it might only be one question you're asked. So for us, when we took a look at all this, we didn't want somebody to be left in the dark after their course. So we created our course based on all these things and all the feedback we could get from students, mentors, tutors, assessors, anybody we could speak to. And we have now this hybrid course that we teach you that is just the best quality we can give. And that might not mean it's the best course for you, but certainly we try to adapt for every individual student. And that's because some students will face different learning difficulties. Sometimes it will be a certain aspect that just doesn't click. For instance, SMART goals is one of the things that doesn't click a lot of the time with most people. But when it's broken down in a proper manner and taught to you, that's when the light bulb moment happens. So we started to make sure that we could actually affect the personal trainers who are going in, the next generation of trainer who are going into the kind of fitness space. And we wanted to make sure that the bar has officially been raised. Now, this brings us back to the course as well, and we absolutely love delivering the course, and we always add extra on. As you can probably tell, I'm quite comfortable in talking and talking and talking some more. So when you're on the course and you've got one of our tutors, we will always try add additional things that help you in real life. We don't want you to just be able to learn off a paper and try apply it, because that doesn't work. We need you to know what real life is going to be like, and we'll always try to add that. And that's where we differentiate from most courses. Now, even when you go to pick your course, there is things to consider. And again, it isn't really highlighted well. There is actually 3 options to become a personal trainer. An award, which it has the minimum guided learning hours. So that's the amount of time that you have to spend on the course being taught it. Then there's a certificate in personal training, which again has a big jump in the guided learning hours, but still doesn't cover enough for us when we looked at it. And then there's the diploma in personal training. And that's the kind of premier, that's the top notch course out there that you want to be doing. And I know that because I did a certificate in personal training way back when I did it. It was a certificate. And that certificate was run by the training provider that I used. And from them, they went on to create their own training certificate. And it's just not as good, to be perfectly honest, when you then compare it to a diploma. Diploma really has all the added aspects that you need, but it still doesn't even go all the way in our eyes. So like we said, we give you the business section of the course, but we add that business qualification on top of the course as an add-on. It's usually £200 almost, but we give it for free because you need it. And then there's also the programming aspect of the course, which we feel the diploma can make quite uncomfortable for the student. In real life, a lot of people will find their own way of telling their clients what a program looks like. So to have one way to teach everybody about how to actually do a program for their clients is ridiculous, because most personal trainers do it their own way. So what we did instead is we've created a programming course that you also get with the 90-day program and with our self-paced program. And it's just to make sure that the two biggest factors that students complained about were covered. How do we create a business when we get into the fitness space? And how do we build programs, good programs, for clients, general population, people you might meet in the gym? Because what they teach you in the course is how to build a program for a fit and healthy person. And most people who are in a gym have something that's not quite right. Now, that could be a dodgy wrist, a broken ankle from back in the day, tight hamstrings, tight glutes, a sore chest, a bad shoulder. There is so many things that you come up against when you are going to actually build a program for people. And that's why we created a programming course. Additionally, we do realise that there is other aspects that personal trainers need to know. And although we did throw in a big section about marketing in our business course, we are actually doing an additional business course that we will be launching at the end of the year, and then we will be adding that to the personal training diploma packages as well. So as you can see, we are trying to make sure that everybody who comes through our course is really looked after, and that is the biggest thing that we want to do. That's our biggest win, and that's why we get started. We want to see people out there training people. We don't want to see videos online of things going wrong and people not being treated right when they're with a personal trainer. We want to make sure that you can go out there and quite comfortably become the trainer you want to be. Now, in the almost 20 minutes I've spoken now, I think I've got across pretty much a decent introductory to our centre. Obviously, you know a little bit about myself. I'll be talking more about the tutoring team in the future. I'm just the person who has been nominated to do all the kind of social media stuff because I like to talk. It's probably because of how many coffees I drink most days. And it's also because I like speaking to an audience. I like making sure that people are looked after and helped wherever I can. just like the rest of the team. But as I said, I've had more coffees than them. So, last little thing, why should you continue listening to this podcast? Well, after this week, we'll be diving into different topics about fitness, health, and education. Different topics that hopefully some people will add to us. We don't want to just pick things at random. We want to make sure that we're staying current with affairs that are going on in the world. And we want to make sure that if there is anything you guys would like covered, that we actually cover it. So please tune in next time. We're going to make this a weekly affair. And if you really want to become a personal trainer, then we would love to hear from you. So jump onto one of our socials, jump onto the website, whatever it is. We can be found just about everywhere. And say hi. We just want to grab a chat and tell you about our course. And if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. If it is right for you, then we'd love to have you on board. But at the same time, we're never going to ask somebody to jump onto our personal training course who can't afford it, or if it's not right for them. We will tell you other people to go to. We are not shy of telling the truth. And maybe again, that's another thing that sets us apart from other centres. So, from me and from IPT, we would love to hear you and let us know if you've enjoyed this podcast. I know there's not been much value added on this one, but please stick with us and hopefully we can add that value moving forward. Speak soon and see you later from IPT.